Hello all, I'm Sindhu C. This is a lecture on the comparison between procedural and object-oriented programming. First, let's see the features of procedure-oriented programming languages. So, as the name says, its main concentration is on the procedure. Procedure is the flow of instructions. How this flow of instruction happens is you have many modules. So these modules are generally called functions or methods, and these methods have their own purpose. So a particular module is designed to make its purpose. Now, you can have multiple such functions incorporated in a single program, and there can be one master function which can use all these functions in turn. The important feature here is all the data that is available in any function is globally accessible. You can have multiple functions and any function can access some other function's data. So all these happens using function calls. So that is why we call data is global. Now, generally, procedural-oriented programming languages follow top-down approach. So, for example, take the C language. Generally, we are used to writing the main function first, then we have the submodules, that is the various other functions which are written after it. So, the execution starts from the main function and all the smaller functions will be called from the main function or some other function, and the flow of the control comes back to the main function when that particular function is done. That is why we call it top-down approach. And the main function generally coordinates calls to the various functions, and you know that we have something called a return value, or the flow of return from a sub function is generally returned to the calling function. So ultimately all the calls get terminated somewhere in the main function, and the execution of the main function ends, the program ends. In procedural programming, the programs are made up of modules called functions, and because it is made in functions, it is easy to code and test. And when the testing is done, each individual function is working perfectly, then it is easy to assemble it into a complete program. In programming languages like C, these modules are called procedures or functions, and these procedures are generally sequence of statements, that is set of rules. So the design method generally used in procedural programming is, as I told you, is called the top-down design or top-down approach. Here, generally, we start with the main function, and then from there we call the sub-procedures or the sub-functions, whatever is necessary. Finally, uh, all the calls are reverted back to the main function, and with the main function, the program ends. This is how a top-down approach program looks like. So at the top you have the main function, and then you have the sub functions or the other functions written at the bottom of it. So as the execution always starts from the main function, so the lines in the main function get executed, and if there is a function call, then that particular procedure which is at the bottom gets executed, then the flow goes back to the main function. Again it keeps repeating, so finally the program terminates in the main function only. So generally execution starts in the main program and ends there. So whatever subprograms are written or the submodules or the functions are written, it's basically at the bottom. So in these cases, the prototype or the function declaration is always given at the top before the main function for these sub procedures which is written at the bottom. And that is why we call it top down approach. So you have the main at the top and the other modules at the bottom. And this is another representation where you have multiple functions. So as told, the main function is where the execution starts from. Then you have, say for example, function 1. Again, function 1 calls function 4. Then function 4 calls function 6. Again, now call traces back, uh, which is it returns its flow from function 6 to 4, 4 to 1, and 1 to main program. So that is how this top-down approach is represented. So there are few examples here, examples of procedure-oriented programming language. So the commonly used programming language is C. We also have COBOL and Fortran. So we know that we have three components of any C function. So first is the declaration, then we have the definition and a call. So declaration is saying that there is a function in this particular template, which is return type, then the function name and the argument list. Here the example is int add. Int is the return type, add is the function name, and you have list of arguments with its type. So this is a function declaration. Then function definition. Function definition, the first line is just as your function declaration, but you will not have a semicolon, which is used for terminating the function declaration. So return type, function name, and argument list. You open the curly braces, then you have the body of the function, and then it is terminated with the curly braces. So here the example, int add, int a comma int b. So int a and int b are the parameters passed to the function add, and you have set of lines int c is equal to a plus b return c. These are all the body of the function add, and return c. So this c is of the type return, which you can identify it by the return type of the function int, which is written before add. Then see how a function call is written. A function call generally has the function name and the list of parameters used for calling. So add and then the parameters 5 comma 10. So these are the three important components of a function in C language. So basically C is a procedure oriented programming language. Here is another example in the form of COBOL. So COBOL is a procedure-oriented language. Here you can see there are multiple divisions. Program ID is given under identification division, and see coming to the storage section where the variable A, B, ans are to be stored. So that is mentioned. Coming to the procedure division, this is the main part where what is to be done is uh, explained. See display. So some dotted lines are printed for decoration. Then enter A. So that will be printed. Accept A. So here you can see that you have modules and modules. Add para is used for adding two numbers and storing the value in ans, and displaying, this is the template how to display. So these are all modules or functions or procedures. So this is one such procedure oriented language. So we have certain disadvantages when it comes to procedural oriented programming language. One is all the data can be accessed anywhere by any function in the program, which is called unrestricted access. We cannot restrict who cannot, which function cannot access which data. So that is a disadvantage. Secondly, we cannot do real world modeling. So when it comes to object oriented programming language, we construct the program in such a way that keeping concentration of what are all the entities, what is their structure, what kind of operations can be performed on those objects or objects as data. So keeping that in mind, we create an object oriented programming language. But here, when it comes to procedural language, our concentration is just on procedure. Accept the input, perform some operation, display the value. So such a kind of procedure is just what is concentrated here. So, so yeah, complex real world objects generally have attributes and functions, which is data. Attributes are data. So say for example, student. Student is an entity. His registration number, roll number, those kind of data is called attribute. So we generally don't keep that in mind. From the point of view of a student as an object, we don't model a procedural oriented program. But this happens in object oriented program. That is why this is a disadvantage. So coming to the object oriented concept, so this is the way one can represent. So we have multiple objects and the data associated with it. So in case of student as an object, you can consider all his associated data, his CGPA, his SGPA, his 10th marks, 12th marks, or it can be any contact number, his parent details. So all those data is with respect to each object as a in the form of a student. So we can have multiple objects and they can be associated with each other. Yeah, so coming to the concepts here, generally object-oriented program uses abstraction. Abstraction is hiding certain part. So what you are hiding can be decided in the form of classes and objects. So using classes and objects, we can create models based on real world environment. So inside a class, you can put any attribute and you can mention who can access it, who cannot. And secondly, it uses collection of objects which can communicate among themselves by passing messages based on their request. Then we can also try to increase the flexibility and maintainability of the programs. That is because flexible in the sense when you have certain kind of some kind of trouble, you can easily recode it because it will be in certain blocks. When you have multiple classes which represent multiple entities, so where the problem is, you can easily identify and you can say, for example, if there is a class customer, if you don't want to record his last time that he visited the particular place, then you can remove that particular attribute from the class itself. So that kind of flexibility, you can identify it based on the entity. So that entity, here you can edit it in the form of a class. So that is why we say that we can increase the flexibility because it is in the form of classes. Here we also have modularity because we are using functions again. So in object-oriented programming, so functions are nothing but methods or member functions. So that is why we have this concept of modularity, where we can easily use those functions to develop a particular module. And just like in procedural oriented concept, you can call those functions from a main function or some other function which is going to use this sub function. And it is also easier to understand because it is in modules. Objects of the program interact by sending messages to each other. Hence, we can increase the data security. You can restrict which can access it and which cannot access it. Now, every object has its own memory in object-oriented programming. And as was already told, objects communicate with each other and that can be used for computation. Every object is an instance of a class. So if fruit is a class, then apple, orange, pineapple, whatever, so those can be the objects. A class simply represents a grouping of similar objects. Just like if student is a class, then Ram, Sita, Krishna, they can be the objects. The class is a repository for behavior associated with an object. which is a class also says, apart from attributes, it also says what are all the operations that can be performed on those attributes. So that is all objects that are instances of the same class can perform the same actions. And classes are organized into a singly rooted tree structure, and this is called inheritance hierarchy. So already existing class, if subclass wants to access this class, then you don't have to rewrite the code. You can use the already existing classes operations and data. Memory and behavior associated with instances of a class are automatically available to any class associated with a descendant in this tree structure. That is why we call it inheritance. Then the difficulties when we are using this procedural programming is that software maintenance can be difficult, and it can be time consuming because it is not object oriented. You don't have classes with which you can decode it at the level of object. And when changes are made to the main procedure, which is the main function, these changes should be reflected in the sub procedures as well. And if there are sub procedures in the sub procedures, and again the change should be impacted there. Then object oriented programming is meant to address all these kind of difficulties which we face generally in a procedural programming. So these are the basic differences. So what we call procedure in procedural oriented programming language, we call it method here in object oriented programming language. And what we call a record in procedural oriented language is called as an object here. And they have their own differences. And what we call a module here is a class in object oriented language, and procedural calls can be called as messages, and they have their own differences. And when I say procedural oriented language, it is not just C program. We have many other programming languages. So the other set of differences, programs here in procedural oriented languages are generally divided into smaller parts called functions, and in object oriented it is called objects. As I told, the main concentration is on objects. Here we can have global and local data. So local data is local to a particular function. Global data is visible everywhere. In object-oriented language, we have certain access specifiers which determine the access, and they are public, private, protected, and we have few more in other terms, as if as not in these label kind, but we have certain other terms which can be used to restrict access. And in procedure-oriented programming language, it doesn't have any proper way to hide data. As I told, everything is visible to any function that is calling. And here, because we have these access specifiers, public, private, and protected, data hiding is very secure. And common examples in procedural oriented language are C, Visual Basic Fortran, and in object oriented programming language, C++, Java, Visual Basic .NET. So these are all some examples. So this is one pictorial representation. In procedural oriented programming language, you can see that the main concentration is on what is done, just the procedure, withdrawing, depositing, transferring. So these are all the procedures. So main concentration is on procedures. When it comes to object oriented programming language, the main concentration is on the entities or the objects. So the customer, money, account. So these are all the entities. They have their own attributes. So when it comes to money, what are all its attributes? When it comes to customer, he has an account, his bank details. So those can be the attributes of the customer. When it comes to account, account number, balance, loan account, or savings account. So those kind of attributes are with respect to that particular entity account. So that is why they are different. Procedural is different from object oriented, and this object oriented is way easy to handle. Thank you.